Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? I hope everybody is well today. Big welcome to everybody who is watching the live stream. Activity already in the chat section, and good to see. We'll go through some of those chats in a minute and see what's happening in the chat section, and we'll also have a look at some of the stories that have caught my attention today, and also some of the comments that were left on yesterday's video. So we'll have a look at that now. What's going on here? Firstly, first piece of news today. Bars and shops warn of little impact of energy savings measures. Reducing the air conditioning by a few degrees means nothing, they say. 1 week into the application of the energy saving measures approved by the government, some of the sectors affected, such as commerce, hotels and tourism, do not see any significant impact for the moment. They do not believe that they are damaging their activity, but neither are they cutting their energy bills. The savings measure had a major impact on shops, bars, restaurants and shopping centres, for example, by forcing them to limit heating and air conditioning or to switch off shop window lights before 10 p.m. or after 10 p.m. that should be. The measures were also implemented by the European Commission. So there we go. The government said yesterday, I think, that the first week of these new energy saving measures, the government has noticed a decrease in energy consumption of something around 3.7%. A fair way off the 7% that they were predicting. One newspaper saying that also coincides with the end of the heat wave in many parts of the country, and saying that maybe people don't have their air conditioning units on for as long as they normally would if the weather was hotter. So again, two sides to every story. As we know, the government saying that they are on track with those energy saving measures, and some people saying that it's not enough. Who knows? Time will tell. Second piece of news, let's have a look. This one here. July inflation reaffirms Spain as the large EU economy with the highest price increases. Inflation continued to rise in July on the old continent, but while in the Eurozone average it rose by 0.3 points to 8.9%, and in the EU by 0.2 points to 9.8%. In Spain, the rises in prices accelerated by 0.7 to 10.7% in July in harmonised terms, which leaves Spain as the large European economy with the greatest lack of control of the inflationary wave. Specifically, of the 8 largest European economies by GDP at the end of 2021, according to Eurostat data, Spain is the third with the highest year-on-year increase in prices, only behind Poland, the 6th largest economy in the Eurozone, whose prices rose by 14.2% year-on-year in July, and the Netherlands, the 5th largest economy behind Spain, with inflation of 11.6% in July. So Spain, the large European Union economy with the highest price increases there, according to Eurostat data. And it's going to be interesting to see what the August figures are, whether the government has managed to contain inflation a little bit or whether it continues its upward march. As I always say, time will tell. We'll go to the third piece of news, which I think is related, it's related to another festival that had problems with the weather phenomenon. And we can see that strong winds on the second day of the Rotterdam to be cancelled and the venue to be evacuated. So strong winds forcing the second day to be cancelled. Strong winds forced the second day to be suspended and the venue to be evacuated without personal injuries. The strong wind recorded this Wednesday in Benicàssim, Castellón, forced to suspend the end of the second day of the Rotterdam Sunsplash and to evacuate the concert venue with personal injury or without any personal injuries or structure affected. The festival is scheduled to reopen this Thursday at 2 p.m. According to the organisers, at 3:40 a.m. on social media, the management team decided to suspend the program and evacuate the site due to the wind that picked up after the Julian Marley concert in order to ensure the safety of the public, staff and artists. Because as we know, a tragedy occurred at another music festival in the Valencian community, I think, the other day. I think in Valencia it was in Cullera, I think, and this one happening in Benicàssim, but the organisers trying to prepare for the worst there and clearing the festival out, and obviously not wanting a repeat of what happened at the Medusa Festival last weekend, where, as I said, one person unfortunately lost their lives and something like 40 other people were injured at that festival. But again, strong winds affecting, or freak weather conditions affecting, these music festivals in Spain. And I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, there seems to be a lot of music festivals happening at the moment, especially on that Mediterranean coast. Very, very popular events. All right, good. Next piece of news, this one here, involving the train incident. 2 hours of panic on the train that was caught in the Begís blaze. The incident involving a medium-distance train on the Valencia-Zaragoza route on Tuesday, when it entered a forest fire in Begís, south of Castellón, leaving at least 11 people injured, 3 of them seriously, when some passengers left the train after stopping to turn back, has opened an investigation on 3 fronts. In addition to the investigations being carried out by the ex officio, by the Guardia Civil's Judicial Police, Renfe and Adif, the railway infrastructure manager, are also conducting internal reports. So basically what's gone on here is that there was a fire in Castellón, and it was affecting the train route, but the train took off anyway and got stuck in the fire, and the train eventually reversed and went back to where it came from to get out of the fire. But the questions are now arising as to why did the train take off in the first place if they knew that there was a fire around the tracks. There are also people on the train, saying that the conductor told them to get off the train because the conductor thought that the driver of the train thought that the train was going to go up in flames. So apparently the passengers saying that they were told to get off the train, and the driver of the train is saying that they didn't say anything like that. They said stay on the train, don't get off the train. So we've got contradicting reports on this, and that's why there are so many investigations going on, both with the Guardia Civil and also with the train company Renfe, and I think also Adif we saw there as well. So various investigations going on to get to the bottom of this train incident, which could have ended in a severe tragedy, going up in flames, and everybody on the train could have died if the train had not got out of there. But luckily it did, but unfortunately people jumped off the train into the flames, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but apparently panic set in, and that's what happened. Now, the first comment from the other day's video from Helen: worked for an estate agents in the UK for 17 years, and the 7-year cycle is what seems to happen. We will have to hang on to our Spanish peso for the next 7 years. Hooray, says Helen. Yeah, we saw this the other day. I'm not sure whether it was in a live stream or whether it was in a regular video, but the cycles in Spain seem to be 7 years up, 7 years down. And apparently Helen here saying that also happens in the UK. But COVID apparently altered that cycle a little bit. So 2008 financial crash, 7 years down. 2015, 2016 started to improve again, was on the way up. Should have gone down around 2021, but that didn't happen because of the pandemic crisis. People had money saved, decided to invest in property, kept it afloat for a little bit longer, and now the market is apparently starting to turn, or at least that's what we saw the other day, that prices, they're not talking about a crash like there was back in 2008, 2009, but there is a definite change in the cycle apparently, and prices are starting to reduce in some parts of the country. So that's 7 year up, 7 year down cycle period when it comes to real estate in Spain, and also, as Helen pointed out, there in the UK. So maybe in a couple of years it could be a good time to invest in property in Spain. You might be able to get yourself a bargain. All right, we'll come back to the chat section in a minute. We will have a look at another comment. Brian, who's also in the chat section. I can't see the menudo del día ever coming to an end. I think it's part of Spanish tradition, the same as having a siesta in the afternoon. The only places I see it dying out is areas like Benidorm that attract more of the McDonald's and KFC followers. A pastime that I don't understand is why fireworks are set off during the day, frightening all the dogs in the vicinity. Happens often in our area, especially red days. Brian La Marina Alicante. Yes, fireworks going off in the middle of the day, especially in some parts of Spain where fireworks are more popular than others. Where I live, Brian, it's not a problem. Fireworks only go off at Christmas time normally. So at Christmas time you'll hear firecrackers going off at night mainly, not during the day. And if Real Madrid wins the league or the Champions League, you can hear firecrackers going off as well, or another Madrid team. But apart from that, you don't really hear firecrackers in Madrid. But I understand that in the Valencian community, where they love to throw firecrackers around, it can be a bit of a problem. And my dog gets very, very scared when firecrackers go off. Even fireworks and things like that as well. And when it comes to the menu, Brian, I don't know whether it'll disappear. I mentioned in yesterday's video that a famous Spanish chef, Ferran Adrià, who owned a restaurant in Catalonia called El Bulli or El Bulli many, many years ago, said that he thought that the menu would come to an end, that the tradition would end, but it hasn't done that. It still continues to this day. And we saw a couple of months ago when the government tried to remove alcohol from the menu, a lot of people were up in arms about that because people love the tradition of the menu, which, as we saw yesterday, was a tradition from the 1950s and 60s in Spain, which continues to this day. One here from Milan. Menú del día equals the clever idea. Hello from the Czech Republic. Prices are rising almost everywhere. For example, Prague. We call it the Menú del día, which is actually only available at lunchtime and usually only includes soup, a main course, and costs about 7 to 9 euros depending on your choice of main course, but mostly no drinks and nothing else. In smaller towns there's also a drink, dessert, or both for this price. It is true that in Prague you can easily have an excellent large beer for €2.50 if you're not driving, of course. Thank you very much for that, Milan. And we can find Menú del Día in other parts of Europe. I thought maybe it was something that was unique to Spain because I've seen Prato de Dia here in Portugal and Plat de Jour in France, but I've never seen a full menu where you get a first, second, dessert or coffee sometimes, plus drinks included, whether they be alcohol or soft drinks. So I thought it might have been unique to Spain, but people have told me that in Peru, I think somebody said they have a menu. Czech Republic, as we just saw there from that comment. So the menu is available in other countries, or the concept of the Menú del Día, the Menú del Día, not Menu del Día, Menú del Día. I saw somebody question my pronunciation of Menú del Día, the Spanish pronunciation, Menú, with the accent over the U. So let's have a look at one more here from Paul. Yeah, Stuart, it happens every year. Restaurants have two prices, one for the locals and another for tourists. Now, I saw this comment and I think somebody replied, might have been City Fan, replied to Paul's comment here. And to be honest, Paul, I've never experienced this in Spain. I've heard about it. People have said, well, tourists get charged more in some places. It could be the case in some of the tourist areas. So if you go to the very popular international tourist resorts, that might be the case. But in Madrid, I've never experienced it personally. I might have gone to a place and felt that I was discriminated against because I didn't get a tapa, whereas the people next to me got some type of food given to them with their drinks and I didn't. Maybe they thought that because I wasn't from Spain, they didn't have to give that to me. I don't know. But I've never felt that there's a two-price system or a two price setup, let's say, where tourists are charged more than locals. At least I've never seen it. But again, I've lived in Madrid most of my time in Spain, but the times that I have been to places like Malaga, I've always been with Spanish people, so I can't say that I've seen that. But again, if anybody has, please let us know in the chat section. If you feel, along with Paul, that there's a two-price system going on at restaurants in Spain, one for the locals and another for tourists. Like I said, I've never experienced it, I've never seen it, but I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, because it could happen in some of the popular places, as I said, where lots of foreign tourists visit. I'll see you all on Sunday. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Bye bye.